Alright guys, Sean here, and today we are going to talk about the top 10 most influential characters of the year 2019 in the Black Clover anime. Now you guys know we are ending the year in a couple of days, so I have a couple of videos in store for you guys just for the new year, and yeah, it's a gift to you guys because you guys have really helped me a lot, and I think that I've developed a lot more confidence in my voice, though it's not the best. So I really want to thank you guys for subbing to the channel, and I hope that you guys will love the video. So here we are going to begin with William Vengeance. He was not as influential as he was in the earlier part of the story, but was revealed to be in league with the villain Petrie, who eventually fought against the Wizard King and defeated him. He betrayed the kingdom, and his betrayal led to almost everything that is wrong with the kingdom at the moment. It led to Petrie fighting against the Wizard King and killing him, and also Petrie reincarnating all the elves, and as usual, bad goes with bad, and Petrie being used by the demon all the way. So William Vengeance was the cornerstone to the demon's plan. So he was not as influential, that said, because Petrie did most of the work. So William Vengeance is 11th. Next up we have Fuegoleon Vermilion. Having been dormant for the earlier part of the story, the hot-headed lion returned in style. Having been chosen by the fire spirit Salamander, he quickly took care of the elf in control of Vice Captain Randall's body. After that, he ended up having to fight against the elf in control of Kaiser Grand Volker's body, and despite the fact that he was at a disadvantage due to the magic typing, as Kaiser uses void magic, which is basically impenetrable, he was able to use his quick wit to exploit the only weakness of void magic, and obviously ended up landing a couple of hits on Kaiser Grand Volker. I think that Fuego's return was extremely impactful given the situation at hand, because everyone was going to get killed because of the broken nature of Vice Captain Randall's air magic, but because of Fuego's quick wit and his ability to foresee things ahead of time, he was able to not only defeat Randall easily, but eventually in the future when he fought against Kaiser Grand Volker, who was being controlled by an elf, he easily was able to also land a couple of hits on the elf, despite the fact that the magic typing was very disadvantageous to him. So that's basically what I call badass. Next up, you have the Languis Retreat duo. We already knew what was the situation in the Vault household regarding Languis and Finral, but Languis ended up beating Finral pretty much very bad in the competition, and even though he fought against a Black Asta, he ended up destroying Asta's team's crystal in the process, despite the fact that he was defeated by Asta. Then we actually go to the much more prolific Retreat. This guy's screen time was very short, but in the little time that he had, he did a lot, and I mean a lot. He led the elves to the royal capital, almost killed the king, held his own against two of the strongest captains, Yami and Jack, and finally was only taken out because Finral actually stepped in. Now, Finral seems to be a degrade, but the situation at hand and the tactical nature of the situation required that Finral was the one who had to save his brother Languis, and Finral was the one who actually was able to get into the mind of Languis and bring him back, thus freeing Languis from the elf temporarily in the process. So that actually states pretty much how influential these two guys were throughout the year 2019. Next up, we have Charlotte Roseley, who was not very influential this year but got her body possessed by the elf called Charla, and that elf was the one who was much more influential. She actually saved two of her comrades who had prior to her arrival been taken care of by Yami, and also fought against Yami and defeated him. Yes, it is true that it was a clash, but at the end of the day, Yami was the one who was sent flying back, and Charlotte seemed to come out of the clash with little or no damage. Now, that's not saying that Yami also received a lot of damage, but Yami was the one who was sent flying back, so that means that Charlotte was the one who won the clash, and that was pretty much very impressive given Yami is arguably the strongest captain as of now. So that's basically why I think that she was extremely influential this year. Next up, we have Raya. This guy fought against an all-out Meleviona and got got beaten up a lot but still got up, and in his fully awakened elf form proved to be too much for Melioviona, Zora and Asta to handle, as he showed us the broken nature of his magic, since he was able to wield 3 types of magics simultaneously, a feat that is yet to be matched. So that actually showed us how important he was. Fighting against Melioviona, who was arguably one of the strongest captains, or should I say the strongest at that moment, was really impressive. But despite the fact that he took a lot of damage from the battle, he still got up and eventually with his friends ended up defeating Melioviona. Then we have Yami. I don't think I need to explain why Yami must be on the list, but I will still give a couple of points. I believe Yami was by far one of the most important characters this year. He reorganized the forces, and what I mean by that is, despite the fact that Julius Novachrono had just been taken out by Petrie, he still forced Max into acting, and Max was the one who actually signaled to everyone that the Wizard King had been taken out. Then he fought against 2 mid-tier elves and defeated them, then fought against Charla, then fought against Petrie, who was almost, out there to say, a top-tier elf, and also got into the Shadow Palace. That actually shows us a very impressive record, and I think that Yami has been by far one of the most important captains in the Black Clover verse this year. Then we have Lufuru. I think that he is not as influential as the others on the list, but actually his case is kind of special because it led to Locke and Magna getting massive character development and even flashbacks showing us how and why these guys are pretty much very close to each other. Then the animation in the episode was really good, and I think that he actually forced us to see the limitations of Vanessa's threats of fate, which actually showed us in that episode that Vanessa consumes a lot of mana because of the reality warping effects of Rouge's magic. So that's basically why I think that Lufuru was very important. And we also have to add to the fact that he was the first ever elf to wish to have been friends with humans, after having witnessed the true friendship that emerged between Asta and Locke together with Vanessa and Magna, and that actually prompted him to really wish to have been born in the era of these humans. So I think that that actually speaks for the reason why he should be on the list. Then we have Melioviona, who fought against 5 elves and survived. Then she actually led the Royal Knights to the Eye of the Midnight Sun's headquarters, beat Raya to a pulp, and fought against a young Vedo and landed a couple of hits on him. That actually speaks for her record, and I think that Melioviona is, or at the very least was, the strongest captain up to that point. Then we have Julius Novachrono, and I think that despite the fact that he failed in his task as the wizard, he still was very influential, as he saved every civilian from the effects of Petrie's massive light magic spell, and that actually speaks for how important this feat was. Then again, in the battle against Petrie, he was besting Petrie, and Petrie had to resort to cowardly tactics to take him out. So that actually speaks for how strong he was and how influential he was. I think that that battle was a turning point of the story, and Julius Novachrono showed us again why he was number one when it came to strength in the Clover Kingdom. Then we also have Petrie, and I think that Petrie was by far the second most important character this year, but the reason why I put Licht ahead of him was because of Licht's insane abilities displayed. Now, Petrie was the orchestrator of it all. He cast a reincarnation magic spell, he killed many people, he actually was the mastermind behind the invasion of the royal capital during the zombie arc, which led to a lot of civilian casualties. He also was the one who got the magic stones. He walked along the demon's path without even knowing it, and was the reason why the demon reincarnated, or should I say got his body back. Then we have Licht, and the reason why I put Licht ahead of Petrie, despite the fact that Petrie put in all the work this year, was the fact that Licht's battle against Asta and actually showed us insane abilities. Now, first things first, Licht is the only elf to be revealed who is able to levitate. Then there's also the fact that Licht can permeate through magic. He speed blitzed Asta. He basically did a lot of things that were inhumane even for elves. So Licht actually, when revealed, was already by far one of the most overpowered characters in the series, and you know what comes with overpowered shonen characters. So basically that's why I added Licht to be ahead of Petrie. Then there is obviously the most influential character of this year, who is the demon. However, since we started the Black Clover manga, we've known that there have been a disagreement between the elf and the human race, but no one would have thought that that was basically a plan of a certain someone, and that person had been calling the shots behind the scenes, even controlling characters as strong as Petrie without them even knowing they were being controlled, to the point where he actually got his body back and is the ultimate epitome of evil, the demon. So I think that he's by far the most influential character in the series, since he's been the driving force of it all, and basically he did that in one episode, and that's really badass. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section, guys. Who do you guys think is the best or the most influential character over the year of 2019? And I'll catch you guys later. As usual, I'm your host Sean, and this is bye bye for now.